welcome. This is amazing. My name is Jeff Javalt. Some of you may know me best as GG, and I am run by the Young Writers Project. And I want to tell you, this is pretty exciting to see all you people here. And think about it. Look around. Look around. All of you are here to celebrate words and photographs and youth expression, and that's pretty good. So give yourselves a hand. All right. Now we have a great program ahead. It's about an hour long, so I hope you all can make that. We have some powerful pieces that will be read and performed, and a few surprises. So get ready to enjoy yourselves. I thought I'd start by telling you a story. It's about Biker 23. One day, Biker 23 joined the YWP community on youngwritersproject.org. He was an 8th grader from a kind of down-and-out family. Several family members were in and out of prison, and all around him was poverty and drugs, and, well, not much opportunity. And Biker 23's first post didn't really bode that well, which was like, "What's up?" And I knew that he had come because of a love interest, so I was a little worried. But he went on to post something new every day, and it was really quite amazing. But he also was a terrible speller. And some of the users started commenting that maybe he should try to fix his spelling. And this was his response: "I think I'm going to leave. I have run out of things to write about, and it is getting kind of old." And the community responded. 24 people asked him to stay within 2 hours, so he did. And in a most transparent way, he worked on his life online. Biker 23 used words and the YWP community to help him figure things out. And 200 posts, and 6 months later, he wrote about a friend who was dying. He is 23 and tough as nails. The last X-ray was shocking. The cancer looks like a tree spread out in his brain and in his heart, but not his soul. For this kid, this was his voice, his newly found voice. And when I think about what he wrote, what he continued to write on into high school, I realized that this is what Young Writers Project is all about. Helping kids find confidence, voice, and the skills needed to express themselves in ways that make us notice, make us listen. Since we began in 2006, Young Writers Project has worked with more than 100,000 youths on the site, in the schools, and in person. Some, like Biker 23, have found literacy. Others, with innate knowledge and interest and opportunity, have developed their skills, worked hard, and also have grown. And all are something to marvel. We have some of them here today, a fraction, really, of who we work with, but we are so proud to honor them. And we're going to hear from a few of them. So, without further ado, let's start with Erin Bundock. Come on up, Erin. So Erin is 18. She's a senior at Champlain Valley Union High School, and she has been with us for 5 years. And we asked each of the kids to produce a 6-word self-description, sorry. And hers was, "Seeks more than the surface level." And that says it well about Erin. So Erin, read us your piece.
Hi, I'm Erin Bundock, and this is Photograph. We all have things we dream of. On nights when I close my eyes, I chase the strands of colors on the back of my eyelids, my own galaxies, and I don't even have to stretch to meet them. We were close at one point. I used to fold the notes from my mind in the small creases at the corner of my eyes. I held those secret words there, daring you to steal them away. They all held the same 3 words, every time. I hope they sometimes leaked out with my laughs. My heart called for shutter clicks every time I held your bitten fingertips in my hands, tasted your lips after ice cream, or found your smile. My heart seized for a lot of things. I used to remember them the way they were, but now I see them from your eyes, and I see them from the outside. I suppose those are the moments where I've forgotten how I loved you then. In the mornings, I wait for new photographs to roll in, ones of us on the beach or in the rain, anywhere. In the mornings, my eyelids are pink, semi-transparent shutters, and I hope the light shining through doesn't destroy the film. And before I let go of the shutter release, I imagine I'll awake to discover that I was just taking a long exposure shot of you. Thank you.
So we really do at Young Writers Project have the best jobs in the world. You know, we run into lines like, "I held those secret words there, daring you to steal them away." Such a pleasure to read your writing. Thank you, Aaron. Next up is Mingo Makera, and this is the first time I've met Mingo. Hi, Mingo. How are you? But I've met him. I've known him for 5 years through his writing. His 6-word self-description is nascent, eccentric, of all things ornamental. Take it away, Mingo.
The title of this piece is We Have Time. I'm still Mingo Makera. Before I fantasized of atonement, before I thought we held our moment, held our gaze, before you walked up softly stairs with a wiggle in your hips, right as you said goodnight, I saw you glancing at my lips. I slept not at all, uncomfy on your couch, with a pet fur pillow and a sore neck slouch. More sheet than blanket covers me. I miss your small body. It couldn't replace the second you stood, I was lonely. The feet quiet plod of your midnight ritual. You think meticulous, I think habitual. Preceding the time you spent looking at my lips, before they thought of smiling, before they thought to kiss. After I was glancing around the room and at the floor, when your mother said, I don't want you to think about my daughter anymore. Thank you.
So in the news business, which I was in for 33 years, we used to tell writers to put something at the very end to reward those who really actually got it through your article. And Mingo's last line is so wonderful. Let me read it. When your mother said, I don't want you to think about my daughter anymore. Really great. Thank you, Mingo. Next up, Olivia Mead, who is a sophomore at Champlain Valley. And her description is, yearning for symptoms of grand perplexity. So go ahead, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and this is not about a fish. I knew I wouldn't have you for long. You were a carnival fish, yet I bought you food and kept my eyes on you. When I tapped on the glass, it scared you, but I needed to know you were there. Some days I would convince myself you'd live forever. Other days I stared painfully at the cold glass, watching your brightly colored scales pass, until I was left crying, pretty positive you were dying. But the truth is, you were not the one to die first. I was. With every stabbing thought of you floating to the surface, a part of me died. And it fueled you in a way, promising you'd stay. But my best parts went first, and soon I was not me. And you swam away. With the parts of me you had taken woven tightly in your scales. I grabbed at you, but you were slippery, and your slime stuck to me. And now all the other fish are harder to catch.
But the truth is, you were not the one to die first. I was. It was such a nice turn when I first read that. It was like, whoa, that is so cool. Nicely done, Olivia. Thank you. So next up is Dan Gregory of also Bella's Free of St. Albans. He's a sophomore. And he has a 6-word self-description of, I don't know who I am. And I just want to say that, Dan, don't worry. You know, when you get to be like as old as I am, each day you go through that. So go ahead.
I'm Dan, and my piece is Furious. What makes me furious? It's not the magazines and pop culture that influence us all in such negative ways, with all the pictures of what beauty is, followed by an article about how to starve yourself to look just like the model. No, it's not that. It's not the ungodly number of mass murders and terrorist attacks, all caused by misunderstood madmen who have slipped under everyone's radar. No, it's not that. It's not the fact that the world forces us to try so hard to be perfect, even though we all know that perfect is impossible. What makes me furious? It's that all of those things and more keep happening, and I haven't done anything to stop it. What makes me furious is the fact that there is nothing I can do, and nothing is exactly what I do. That's what makes me furious.
So Dan, this piece really makes me think, and it's so important that we know that our voice does matter, and that we can do something, and you're doing it. You know, you are doing it by making us think. So, thanks very much for that. Okay, so this next one caught us by surprise. We first noticed a poem. And it was wonderful. And I'm not sure whether it all happened at the same time, but I also then noticed that there was this video that was not working properly. So we dove into the server and got it and posted it. And then we played it. And this is what it was like for us.
Death seems to come too fast. It swallows up everything in its sight, like the blackest of holes, the deepest of craters. I can remember the rain beating down on the window, the sound of my heart as I let death stalk her prey. With every thunderclap, she grew fiercer with rage. She was waiting for the right moment. A moment so striking, so confusing, it can change good to bad, happy to sad, sadness to rage. Rage beyond any control, death leaves the most canny of people feeble-minded, confused, and empty. Sometimes she is beautiful, she's the queen of the night. dancing delicately with beautiful faces. It's her long black hair that scares me the most. It runs almost completely down her face, resting at the bottom of her breast. It looks like the ripe black petals of the black orchid. Someday I too will dance with her. But then there's life. Life is unpredictable. It's all-consuming in the best possible ways. In one moment you're swept off your feet, and the next you're standing firm. Moments of serendipity coincide with times of misfortune. Favorable situations are often followed closely by distress. What then makes life worthwhile? In the beginning, life is simple, filled with love and warmth. You're spoon-fed, and the problems of the world are not just yet your own. With growth, time swiftly passes. Life becomes more complex. The world expands. It's filled with vast possibilities and new adventures. Perhaps the greatest conquest of all is love. Love may be the answer to the ever-present inquisition of life. It has a potency unlike any other force. Though it is unseen, love overcomes any evils that life may offer.
Yeah. So if we can get the makers of this to come down. The writers are Will Tucker and Trajan Art. Carrie Lund did dance and choreography. O'Brien Ellis was the director and camera. Kevin Souls also did camera. They're all from Burr and Burton Academy. They drove 2 hours to get here for your applause. So, if I can do this right. That was awesome, guys.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to ask a couple of questions because, like, you know, once a journalist, always a journalist. So how did this get started? Will, maybe you want to start?
Yes, it started actually as a class project. It was our final for the class, and we knew we had to take some form of writing and turn it into other art forms, so we just kind of got this group together and made it happen.
And so, Brian, how did you get involved?
I was in film class when they walked in one day and they said they wanted to, they wrote a poem and they wanted to interact film with it, and I just jumped up immediately and was like, I want to take part in this. So we just met and we came up with the idea of having a dancer and having like all that.
And Carly, they hit you up? Yeah. Come on up. Tell us what it was like.
So Will asked me one day if I would dance to this poem, and so I read the poem, and we kind of figured out what the feel for the dance was going to be like, and then we tried for like a long time to pick out music that really fit like the emotion that the poem kind of emitted. So I don't know, then we picked out the piece of music, and I spent like a week and a half choreographing, and then we met and at like 7? Like 6:30 o'clock, like 6:30 in the morning at the school and filmed it. So.
Awesome. That's great. And Trajan, you kind of finished out the poem, right? Or did you start it?
I wrote the second half. We decided to do write about life and death since that made sense to us at the time. So Will wrote about death and I wrote about life.
Great. And Kevin, you also did some of the film work, right?
Yeah, I was also in O'Brien's film class, and basically Will just came to us asking for a couple kids to film, and
Right.
I stepped in with O'Brien, and yeah, we just got it done.
Awesome. And I understand that a couple of you are seniors and a couple of you are juniors, right? So we do sincerely hope to see more of this concept. And thank you so much for coming up all this way, but mostly thank you for sharing this great piece of art.
Just one more thing. We will be having another piece just like this on the website very soon, so
Awesome, awesome. Hey, before you go, O'Brien, can you tell me again who's the voice?
The voice was a substitute teacher, a math teacher at our school. We met him for the first time and we just fell in love with his voice, and like the first time we were like trying to decide who to get for the voice, and we just immediately thought of him. So
Awesome. All right, great. Give me a hand. So I told you I have the best job in the world. Man, to wake up like and just go to a website that we run and run into that, I mean, how cool is that? So aside from this piece being just a really interesting piece and something that is really well done, the quality of the work on our community is pretty amazing. But we also felt that it really represents the spirit of collaboration that permeates Young Writers Project. And through the years, we've had kids band together to write fantasy novels. Another group produced a performance piece for First Night. We had one kid who would turn other writers' poems into songs. His username I loved was Thor's Apprehension. And he composed and recorded the music himself, and then he began writing and posting his own music. And his work over 4 years spawned music and songs from more than 90 other writers, which is pretty amazing. But more importantly, though, is that this kind of collaboration happens every day. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the YoungWritersProject.org community, the writers follow a one-word rule: respect. They value it, they protect it, and preserve it. And over the last 9 years, we've had over 320,000 posts and comments. And if I was smarter, or had a better memory, I could name you each one of a handful that were slightly over the edge. But even those became learning moments when we reached out to the writers, talked to them about the piece, and watched as they revised it and reposted it. So this safe space allows writers to take creative risk, to explore their own ideas, and to hear suggestions on how to make their work better from their peers, from mentors, from professionals like Ruben Jackson, who's trying to hide over there, who come in and give this amazing insight on what it's like to read their piece. And from that, they gain the skills they need to achieve the quality of work that they're shooting for. And that's our pedagogy, really. That's why all this works. And a key part of what we do is to find them audience for their best work. This gives them affirmation and a sense of purpose. We publish all over 20 newspapers, Vermont Public Radio, and soon Vermont Public Television. Regional Educational Television Network, which is here today recording this, is also an amazing partner to publish. And they'll be broadcasting this show later on. So thank you, folks, for being here, by the way. Give them a hand. And there's more, vtdigger.org, cowbird.com, an amazing storytelling community, and a new weekly magazine we have on a site called medium.com, which is getting quite an audience. And each month we publish the sound, words, and images on our own digital magazine, The Voice. And for those of you who haven't seen it, here comes the proverbial URL. thevoice.youngwritersproject.org. And this publication is getting about 25,000 views a month, actually a lot more given that a person's IP address is only counted once And from specific page view counts, we know that people are coming back. They're finishing this magazine. They're poring over it. And next Monday, we'll be publishing the May issue, so check it out. And of course, we publish the best of the best in the annual anthology, which we are releasing today, our 8th publication, and it was gleaned from some 15,000 submissions, and some of you who are in it are here today. We think it's a big deal to get published, so we want to honor them. Now, I'm going to read off each one of the names, and I know that a couple kids couldn't make it at the last moment, but what I want you to do is when you hear your name, and I will try to pronounce it correctly, when you hear your name, please stand and stay standing. Oh my gosh, you're mortified. Don't worry about it. You'll be joined by others soon. Balkisa, warning, you're going to be the first one. Okay. And please hold your applause to the end because I'm going to try to rip through them. And if you applaud, then you won't be able to hear the next name. Oh, echo, echo. Where is it coming from? Okay. Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay. Maybe I need to sit. There we go. Found the magic spot. Balkisa Abdikadir. How did I do? All right. Hawa Adam. Irian Adi. Stephanie Allen. Trajan Art. Isadora Bailey Hall. Aidan Blevins. Aaron Bundock. Amelia Canny. Bryce Carey. Christy Sasiri. I did it, Christy. Madeline Cohen. Emily Collins, Calvin Cook, Claire Cook, Mara Cosgrove, Zoe Cudney, Cooper Cudney, Jalen Davidson, Hannah DeLima, Ellie Dixon, O'Brien Ellis, Ren Forbes, Hannah Friedner, Lena Ganawi, Lucy Glick, Fiona Goodman, Dan Gregory, Greta Hardy Mattel, Abigail Harkness, William Harvey, Emily Hathaway, Katie Havey, M. Hazel, Briggs Heffernan, Phoebe Henderson, Olivia Holmes, Kevin Huang, Jonathan Ireland, Luna Isham, Madeline Johnson, Leah Kelleher, Annalise Kinstedt, Aaron Lashway, Maddie Love, Carrie Lund, Katie McCauley, Elizabeth Magnan, Ben Maxim, Mingo Makara, Neely Markley, Elizabeth Martell, Quincy Massey Bierman, Maeve McCullough, Avery McLean, Olivia Mead, Catherine Melanson, Lydia Mormon, Adam Morgan, Lauren Palmer, Henry Parsons, Chance Passmore. These guys are all writers. This is so cool. Benjamin Pensack, Angela Perry, Cassidy Pryor, Rowan Wild Riggs. Yes, Rowan. Gavin Roberge, Ethan Schmidt, Megan Smith, Mia Smith, Malachi Snow. What a nice name. Kevin Souls, Ella Statz, Sarah Stevens, Ka Anolani. Oh, man, I blew that. Ka Anoalani. Thompson Mahi. Now that's a name. All right. Will Tucker, Nicole Tucker, Isabel Vivanco, Kieran Wakar, Shiloh Wonder Maez, Max Juan Savage, Lucy Woodward, and Aaron Zubarik. Now, raucous, loud cheers. Awesome. I told you, we have such a cool job. All right. So let's get back to some more reading. We have Amelia Canny who's 14, from St. Francis Xavier School in Winooski. She's been with us for 18 months. She is impatient, really? Runner, avid reader, and practical joker. Take it away.
I'm Amelia Canny, and this piece is titled The Little Bird. He shuffled across the stage to the mic. He could see the people in the audience snickering at him, pointing out his messily done tie, his shoes that had been stained from hours of work, his too small coat. The paper he held was starting to get crumpled by his clenched hands. When he reached the microphone, the audience went silent. Even if they hated him, they knew better than to be disrespectful in front of the teachers. He cleared his throat, unclenched his hands, brought out his paper, uncrumpled it, read it. A little bird looked from his nest into the place beyond. One day he'll fly, leave for there, to where he thought he belonged. For the other birds inside his roost were not very kind. They made fun of him, you see, always left him behind. So he gathered up what little courage lay beyond his feathers and jumped, knowing he would fly to a place that was better. The children in the audience were silent, but he wasn't done yet. And as he pumped his little wings, he rose into the air. He flew away from his old nest in happiness and cheer. So when you think it's hopeless and nobody ever likes you, just spread your wings, little bird, and see what you can do. He folded his paper and started to walk off the stage, but a swell rose from the audience and erupted in the form of the loudest cheer ever uttered in that auditorium. The students surrounded him, asking him where he learned to write like that, what had inspired him, and many other questions. He just smiled through all of them. At one point, a young girl piped up, "Were you the little bird?" He turned to her. "Yes, of course."
Wow. So that's pretty cool. So essentially, it's been my fantasy that we can get as much interest and cheering for writing as we can for, like, basketball. So that was such a nice piece and a story within a story, and really well done. Thank you, Amelia. All right. So, indeed, give her another applause. Okay, so Isadora Bailey Hall is at Edmonds Middle School, and her self-description is a curious duck that can't fly. Indeed, take it away.
So I'm Isadora, and this is Who Are We to Close Our Doors? We are all immigrants to this land, first, second, third, 10th, everything in between and after. We are all newcomers in one sense, even if over a land bridge. So who are we to close our doors? In a country of immigrants, we propose a ban to shut our gates, retract our open arms. Who are we to close our doors? My first ancestors arrived in the 1600s. My last in the 1900s. What if our doors had been closed then? So who are we to close our doors? Don't try to tell me that you don't know someone who came or whose parents came from abroad, who you couldn't bear to miss. Don't even try. Who are we to close our doors? We are a country built off the backs of immigrants, legal or not. We are built off their sweat and tears. So many of us are immigrants, if not quite directly. Should we close our doors on us? Who are we to close our doors? These people you endeavor to keep out by shutting our doors, they will still find a way in. The only people you are inhibiting are the ones we want to stay. Who are we to close our doors? By shutting ourselves off, we are shutting off our future. We are dishonoring our legacy. We are depriving ourselves of our greatest gift. Who are we to do that? Tell me this is far more complicated. Tell me I don't understand. I know that's what you want to say. But on a fundamental level, in the most basic of senses, who are we to close our doors? What have we become?
Really, there's not much to say, except that I was most surprised after reading Isadora's stuff on the site to meet her and find her such a gentle, quiet soul and such power in her heart. Another hand. Okay, so Lucy Glick comes to us from special visa from New Hampshire. 13 years old, Frances C, Richmond Middle School in Hanover. We've had a lot of great writers come out of there, and her a six-word self-description is like 2 of them. I like these. It's okay, you did great. I'm not good at this part, but she proceeded. She persisted. Athlete, geek, really? Dog lover, outdoorsy, reader, and a procrastinator, which every good writer is. Excellent. Go for it, Lucy.
On the morning of my little brother's 7th birthday, I woke him before dawn, coaxed him from his bed, and took him out back to the woods to go flying rabbit hunting. I dressed him in soft black clothes. He looked like a particularly small ninja. I even let him wear my leather moccasins I bought at the gift shop last year. I told him to be quiet, and sure enough, he was quiet. I handed him a burlap sack to catch the rabbits in. Everyone knows that's how you catch them, after all. I pushed open the screen door. The air outside smelled like mud and moon and mystery, and I smiled at his goofy little face as he sucked it all into his lungs. And we went into the woods to catch a flying rabbit. There. I pointed at a knot of grass by the base of an ancient oak. I see it. I put a hand gently over his mouth. Quiet, it'll hear us. We crept up to the knot of grass, him grinning all the way, and threw the burlap sack over it. I pinched the top closed tight so it couldn't escape. I handed him the sack. He took it eagerly in his red knit mitten and held it up to his face. We caught one, he said breathlessly. I held back a laugh at his silly, silly face. We sure did. Inside the bag, something bulged out a little. Then it moved, straining against the burlap's tight weave. My little brother dropped the bag, and from the fraying top burst a feathery white wing, then another, then a little cotton ball of a tail went soaring past the moon, and then the bag was empty, and a rabbit feather, soft and downy white, lay nestled on the ground.
Thank you very much. There it is. Thanks. So what's so great about that is that you don't for a moment doubt that there's like flying rabbits. I totally can see them. I can see them punching out of that bag. It's so great. Awesome. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. And a rabbit feather, soft and downy white, lay nestled on the ground. Awesome line. All right, Ren Forbes, age 12, homeschooled in Fayston, Vermont. And her description of herself is, I have always wanted to fly. All right, come on, Ren.
I'm Ren, and my story is called A Shot in the Woods. Hank and I have been hunting in Lemisher Island in Glacier Bay, Alaska for the past couple of days and have seen nothing, not a single deer. Today, as we geared up to go out into the woods, we expected no different. This is my second year being a scout for Hank on Lemisher. My family often spends time with Hank and his family in Alaska, but this time I was visiting these friends for their annual hunt on my own. I've never actually seen a deer being shot, but I am not disappointed that I have never seen it happen. But I've always thought that it might be something I should see, and it could possibly change my perspective on things. But today, as we walked through the woods, and the thought of shooting a buck was not on my mind. On one of our occasional stops to look around, I see a flash of white in the corner of my eye. Hank is already looking through the scope on his gun. He does this often to get a better look at the deer, so I assume we are only watching a doe or a fawn. All of a sudden, I hear a loud bang next to my ear. I feel more than see the deer fall. My knees go weak under me, and my legs shake as we climb up the slope to the dead deer. I feel adrenaline pump through my veins as I look at the beautiful, clean deer lying motionless on the moss. I occasionally held a leg for Hank as he carefully slits the belly and pulls the guts from the rib cage. I watch with interest and tentatively touch the buck's bristly fur. When all the guts are out and the heart and liver are carefully stowed in my backpack, Hank grabs a rope around the antlers and begins to pull the deer down the mountain. I have been able to hold back the tears until now, but they suddenly start to flow silent down my cheeks. I watch this one strong, nimble deer being forcefully dragged over stumps and logs, then flop down a hill, its legs flailing every which way. It's too strange to see a deer that way. Later that day, after carefully skinning the deer with Hank's daughter, Naya, I got into the yard and wrapped my chapped, cold hands around a bundle of wet ryegrass. I slowly twist it into a circle, my hands throbbing from the cold. I place it on the deer's head, along with a few words of thanks for the food it gave. Thank you.
All right. Ren, you did great. Thank you so much. And it was such a powerful piece, and I like, as a longtime hunter, particularly as a kid, I really appreciated the last line. I place it on the deer's head along with a few words of thanks for the food it has given us. So anyway, nicely done. Megan Smith. Megan Smith is 15 years old and has been with us for 3 years. And it's been such a pleasure to see her grow. And her line is, just trying to be myself here. Awesome. It's yours.
This piece is called Fears. I have too many big feelings and too many small words. Sometimes they break out of my skin, bleeding black ink on the paper. Every time I write, it hurts, and I don't know where these words come from. They are not my words. These words hurt others more than they hurt me, but painful words beg to be spoken more than they can be shut up. They tell me I am smart, but I do not know what I am doing right, because they tell me to learn from my mistakes, and I cannot tell if I am even trying, and that's too easy to count as living. I want to tell people things, everything, and even though it is hard, I try, because I do not try hard enough everywhere else, so at least I can try to be honest. Even though I do not want my thoughts, they are still mine, so I must keep them. I feel too much. I feel too little. It all comes out at once like a messy flood of tears and sighs. I do not like how I am not me. I do not like how I am not trying to be me. I try to change, but I like myself the way I am. At least I think so, but I am never sure. I dream too hard, too far, always chasing, never followed. One thing leads to another, and I am left behind again in the dust, watching others live better than I. But my head will not come out of the clouds, and I wonder how other dreamers do not trip every time they think bigger.
So I just wonder what your writing's going to be like in 3 years from now, Megan. It's really awesome. Thank you so much. So Ben Maxim, as he makes his way up, I just want to add that Ben has been with us this year as the YWP High School intern. If you all didn't know that that's available.
Don't tell them that. They'll think I'm a plant.
Oh, okay. He's not a plant. He's actually been great, and his line is so, mystifying, and that's what's been so much fun to have him. I talk less than I listen. You think about that for a while. So anyway, he's been great, and he came back. He's been working on a radio project that he's going to be sharing soon on Young Writers Project, so stay tuned. But here, Ben, tell us about joy.
Well, as I'm sure you've gathered, I'm Ben. Hi. And this poem is called Joy. Waking up on a tired day and lying, not moving, just sitting. To have no duties, no arduous ordeals to deal with. That is joy. Making a joke, seeing others smile, not just to be nice or to indulge, but because they're actually amused. You smile too. That is joy. Stroking a dog or cat or animal of any size, shape, type that loves you, not having them tense, run, fear. That is joy. To hear I love you, of your own effort, work, and patience, and to respond in kind. That is joy. Dancing, singing, loving with your own child, and seeing their sunlight smile. That is joy.
Not to embarrass you too much, but it has been a joy having you with us. So I've learned a lot from you. So thank you very much, Ben. So one of the things that's happened at Young Writers Projects is that contrary to the political discourse you may have been hearing in some circles, we've taken down the walls around our borders here in Vermont. And for our first 8 years, we only worked with kids from Vermont and a few from New Hampshire and New York. But last summer, when we launched a new platform at Young Writers Project, we welcomed youth from all over. And we mean all over. Doot, doot. And here are a few. Shanali is a 16-year-old girl living in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
How do you write? It spills. Spills? Why, in the way you might accidentally spill coffee, so that it stains your shirt and splatters and splashes in such a gloriously unpredictable manner. It spills.
Her writing has been really amazing, and I think the one that really stopped me was the one that she wrote a really long piece about how the tsunami had been sent by the gods to clear away the evil, but it didn't work. So she's given us great insight. And then there's Hannah Mason from Deering, North Dakota, and she had this for us.
Hello. I am Hannah Mason, or When the Skies Cry on Young Writers Project. I am 18 years old, and I will be graduating high school this year. In just a few months, I will be headed off to college. As of now, I live up in North Dakota, but in just a few months, I will be heading off to Minnesota. I was actually introduced to Young Writers Project to my English teacher. She told me about the various prompts and how you could get published, but for me it wasn't about chance of being published, but it was more of wanting to try out the various prompts. I've always been one of those writers that just wrote. I hated using prompts, honestly. But Young Writers Project kind of changed that for me. Some of the prompts on here, they made me think more realistically, I suppose. I've always been known for writing more fantasy-related things, but the few prompts I have written for, I put more of me in them, my own thoughts, my own feelings. It wasn't more of trying to tell a story, but my own, of what was going through my mind on a daily basis. And Young Writers Project opened up my writing, I suppose you can say. I wasn't so stiff with it. And being published, honestly, I never thought I'd get the chance to be published. I've read so many pieces on Young Writers Project that are so much better than mine. So it never crossed my mind that I could get this chance, and to be one of the few that has been chosen to be published is amazing. It's such a huge honor to be published. It means so much to me. I want to be a published writer. I want to have my own books out there, and this is just one step closer, I feel like. It's just that first stepping stone to what I want to be, to who I want to be. I'm so grateful. Finally, for everyone else who's getting published, whether you write or it's your photograph, congratulations. This is just such a huge confidence boost for myself, so I can only imagine what it's like for everyone else. And for those who have not been chosen, keep working at it. Just because you weren't chosen this one time doesn't mean you aren't good enough for however many more chances. Just keep writing, taking photos, whatever it is you love to do. Don't stop. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you.
Just all right out there. I just loved it, and it was really nice of her to do that. All right. So our idea behind opening up the site was that we wanted to expand the site and give it more of a critical mass. And we also want to make it more diverse in all ways. Not just kids who are of different ethnicities, but also who are from different places, different experiences, different cultures, and different perspectives. We believe that by connecting these youths in a space that believes in respect, they will learn from each other's differences and gain cultural literacy. And we are hoping that they will go on to teach us adults a little bit about understanding and tolerance and civility, because we sure need some lessons. We also want to make the site diverse in how youths express themselves by welcoming those who create sound stories, music, digital stories, visual art, and photography. So I want to take a moment to mention one person who has had a number of pieces in this year's anthology and many anthologies, Kevin Huang. Kevin, where are you? Stand up, Kevin, and give him a hand. So, okay, you can sit down now, Kevin. It's all right. We won't make you feel that squirmy. But Kevin is a senior at Burlington High School and has been sending us photographs since his days at Edmonds Middle School. And he's prolific, and it's been extraordinary to see his growth, and you can see some of his work up on the screen. A friend of mine, Barbara Ganley, who's a brilliant photographer, who had a chance to work with Kevin and some others several years ago, has been keeping track of Kevin's work. Bet you didn't know that, Kevin. And recently she told me that Kevin's work so impresses her in terms of its composition, the colors, and the imagination that he shows. Yeah, that's almost like a cat photo, Kevin. Anyway, and how it shows how much skill and confidence he's gained. So Kevin, as the unofficial photographer of Young Writers Project, I want to thank you for adding so much to what we do here. And if anyone is looking to fill his shoes as the official Young Writers Project photographer, there is an opening. So thank you, Kevin. I kind of hate to stop, Kevin, but you can buy an anthology. You'll see some. All right. So now coming up is someone I've known for a long time, 6 years, and Erin Lashway, 17 of Mount Mansfield High. She describes herself as a spontaneous dancer, a whimsical wanderer, and sporadically effervescent. And she added to me earlier, it's provided how much caffeine she's had. So come on up, Erin.
I'm Aaron. This is I'll Watch You Fly. I announced to him, life is boring. He told me to make my own adventures, but wondered, what could be more tragic than spending your whole life searching for what is right in front of you? Not living at all, I retorted, and he grinned. 10 years later, he followed through on his promise. Life was never boring, and we were the brave explorers. Wait for me, my darling, he laughed at me as I skipped ahead of him on the path. But when I paused, chided me gently for letting anyone hold me back. I said to him, I want to fly. He quirked his eyebrow at me and flung me into the air, only to catch me again and set me properly down once more. And late at night, when I would sigh and look longingly into the stars, he would drag me outside, and we would scale trees for hours, howling at the moon as if we were madly drunk. And maybe we were. Or maybe the rest of the world has it wrong. Sometimes when the bills stacked up too high and we had to downsize our house again, I'd look into his eyes and think, maybe we're wrong. But staring at the brisk-walking, bleary-eyed rich man and his fur-lined schnauzer-carrying wife who pointed her nose in the air as we neared, I proudly strutted by in my ripped jeans, flower-adorned hair, patted that dog on his lavender-shampooed head and said, we were right all along. You were crazy, my husband was fond of saying. Thank heavens, I laughed, and I meant it. But as high as the ups were, it was no wonder that when I fell, I scraped my nose on the bottom. He unwrapped my arms from around my stomach, placed them around himself instead. Someday I'll lose you, I whispered. Darling, he murmured, when this adventure is done, I will sweep you up into my arms, carry you until we reach the sky, and if we are allowed to enter, I will finally watch you fly. Thank you.
Aaron, thank you for that, and thank you for all the writing that we've had to enjoy these 6 years. It's been amazing. We are going to miss you, but we're going to make you a mentor. We really are. Really nice job. Briggs Heffernan, 16, of Oxbow High School. He's been with us for a year. He describes himself as a visual artist, a fantasy fan, and an old child. And you'll see what he means. Go
ahead. Yes, I'm Briggs. This is Clack Crash, the abridged version. I write my best late at night. It is certainly late now, the clock having just struck 1. The little window to my left is dark, and though I strain my old eyes, I can see nothing. The little room is dark as well. The candle on my desk casts its light on the fancy typewriter, and the flame reflects off the iron blades hanging from the wall. I've been writing for about 2 hours now, on the epic saga that seems unlikely to ever end. The typewriter's ribbon is failing, but to replace it would break my reverie, and I would not be able to write anymore tonight. The old hide-back chair and the thick blanket have kept me warm on this cold January night. The dragons I crudely embroidered on the chair years ago keep away the chill while I type. My thoughts are deep in another world, ancient and beautiful, a place where giants war with dragons and the gods speak with wise old men. I fight to stay in that place and do not but pour it on the page. The harsh clacking of the keys is that world's conduit to mine. The small room is made for this, a space where dwarves could be found reading or an elf might rest her harp. The walls are carved with maps and lined with paintings of young kings and tired old orcs. It is a place of absolute devotion to a life that does not exist. But my concentration always breaks by the sunlight pouring into the window or by sheer exhaustion. Tonight, I'm torn from that world of might and majesty by a sound in my little house. In the kitchen, something has fallen, and its clattering scares me. It is quiet now, but I know I can't write anymore this night. The blanket falls away as I rise, and the cold bites into me, but I am too nervous to care. On the wall hang some medieval weapons made of iron. I lift a thin blade, one of the few I can still wield, and walk toward the source of the noise. My house is only 3 small rooms in a line. The study is at the northern end, leading into my bedroom. It's a different world than my study, with a computer in the corner and a TV in another. Ahead is the pitch-black kitchen. As quickly as my old bones allow, I move to the light switch, slashing my sword wildly at the dark. When the lights flash on, I see no one. The only thing out of place is some shattered ceramic beside my tiny table. The culprit cowers under my chair, his dark fur still on end. The crash of the plate he has dislodged had scared the kitten as much as had scared me. Cooing and extending my wrinkled hands, I pick my shaking cat up and carry him to his pillow in my room. He's asleep by the time I settle into my own bed. I curse myself when I remember the candle flickering in the other room. But I am too tired to get up and blow it out. Thank you.
Thanks, Briggs. I can visualize that probably a little bit too well, having spent so much time with something called a typewriter. Anyway, really nicely done, and thanks. And Ella Statz, who we omitted from the program, and we're so sorry. She's the child we forgot. And when you hear her, you'll wonder, how in the world did you forget Ella Statz? She's an artist, filmmaker, cacti enthusiast, and ambivert, and musician. So we'll confess, we had to look ambivert up in the dictionary. And it means someone who exhibits qualities of both introversion and extroversion. So why don't you display your extrovert now? Great.
Hi, I'm Ella, and this is Plaid Shirt. Hey, you probably didn't think you'd ever hear from me again. Maybe you didn't pick up because you lost my number, and the one flashing on your phone screen is foreign to your eyes. Remember when we used to know those digits by heart? I still do, I think. You probably don't. That's okay. I only called because I found that shirt, the plaid one with the beige buttons, that you left at my house 2 summers ago. It was under my bed, and it made me think about how that's a perfect representation of our friendship. Swept under the bed, into the dark, the dust, the place where no one bothers to look unless they're searching for something they've lost. Sometimes things roll under and you don't bother fishing them out, because in the moment, you don't need them. That's what happened to us, isn't it? We were kicked beneath the mattress, and neither of us bothered to crawl back into the light. I guess that's what I'm doing, trying to get back to that place. But it was summer when we disappeared, and the sun in the summer is brighter than that of the winter, and I'm not sure I recognize the snow-blanketed garden or the icicle-trimmed rooftops. If this is still the same place I left, please call back. Or even if you only want your shirt, because I have that too. Thank you.
So I forgot to say that's a phone message. That was the phone message. And imagine getting a phone message like that. That would be awesome. So anyway, and I would have called back, Ella, absolutely. So that's really great. Ella is multi-talented, and she has I love her YouTube channel, which I watch, and it's hysterical. And she also designs clothing, right? You still doing that? All right. So we have one more performance. You guys ready? All right. Not quite. And then we'll break for some more food and some fun. For 8 years of our life as an organization, and we're coming up to our 10th birthday, it's just mind-boggling to me, we've been involved directly in schools. But about a year and a half ago, we decided to kind of reassess. We felt like we needed to change our approach with the schools and take what, I've lost my mouse. Has anyone seen it? So anyway, isn't that horrible? You know, technology is so great when it works, and then you're like looking around saying, oh, there it is. Great, you're back. That's nice. And it's kind of like, you know, it used to be the old cars. You know, you just kick the car and it would work again, and you can't really do that with computers. So anyway, we were working in the schools, but we really decided we really needed to reassess what we were doing. And we felt like we needed to change our approach and take what we've learned and provide more direct support to youth. So this September, we're planning to add to youngwritersproject.org an entirely new service. We're going to provide formal learning experiences taught by artists and educators from all over the country in writing, performance, photography, audio, and digital storytelling. We're really excited about it. We got a lot of work ahead, but we're really excited. And we plan to break tradition a bit. Instead of providing this all for free, we're going to ask for a modest donation of $120 for a year's access to this learning. But we're also going to offer it for free to those who can't afford it. We're going to tie it to school expectations so youth can get some credit for what they do with us, which we think would be really nice. And as part of this strategy, we're putting together an amazing collective of artists, educators, and youth organizations here and around the country. University of Vermont, Bennington College, Vermont College of Fine Arts are involved. The University of California at Berkeley, the writing department. Youth organizations in California, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Tucson, Minneapolis, and Cleveland are also going to be joining in. And we're tapping into digital media artists all over, including those at the Center for Digital Storytelling in San Francisco, which is really the people who started digital storytelling. They're amazing. So as this develops, we'll let you know more details. We're also revamping our school residencies, and we'll again be resuming our master's classes for teachers. And part of those courses, we're going to have teachers learn alongside youths online. And part of our plan is also to create live experience for youth online and going to take advantage of the fact that we have ultra-high-speed internet connections through Burlington Telecom and BTV Ignite. And to show the potential of these connections, mark your calendars. October 22nd here in Burlington, we are going to have a live, fully synchronized poetry slam involving kids here and their counterparts in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it's going to be quite fun. And probably we have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be awesome, you know. But we like those kinds of projects when we really have no idea what's going to happen. Those are the ones that are the best. And we're hoping that you're going to be there? All right. And we're hoping that these four guys, in our final performance will be involved. Now, if you haven't heard these girls perform, you are in for a treat. They came to us in March when we held auditions to create a Young Writers Project Slam team to send to the Brave New Voices national competition in July. And when they stepped up to the mic that night and delivered what you're about to hear, well, it knocked our socks off. I'm setting the bar high, okay, just so you know. And not only was it well written and well presented, but it is a message and an important and timely one. So come on up, take the mic. So,
September 11th, 2001.
Wake up, America. The enemy is here.
The terrorists.
The jihadists.
Those Arabs.
The womanizers.
The monsters. Those Bin Ladens.
The ones to watch out for.
To surveil.
To remove. To attack.
But actually, we're the advocates.
The award winners. Bilinguals.
Hello.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Assalamu alaikum.
We're the 4.0 students.
Honor roll students. The star athletes. We're also the misunderstood. Ones to watch out for. To surveil. It was my first day of 10th grade. My first day of the hijab public. This hijab that power turned me from Kiran Wakar, typical teen, to Kiran Wakar, ambassador for all 1.6 billion Muslims.
March 21st, 2003.
Fireworks were thrown into a Palestinian's family van.
Flames burned brighter than the rocket's red glare.
America.
What are you celebrating? April 6, 2004.
A woman's hijab ripped off and she was verbally assaulted.
But she's dangerous,
Right?
She deserves this,
Right? Wait. But it's her body.
Right.
Women should be able to do what they want. Right. So if you can show, why can't we conceal?
August 6, 2007, a chemical bomb is thrown at a mosque in Glendale, Arizona.
The bomb almost hit 2 Muslim Americans.
Imagine what could have happened.
2 mothers could have lost their sons. 2 men
could have lost their lives.
Wait. America, you don't care about our protection because you're trying to protect yourselves from us.
From me. I was on my way home from school and you decided to cross to the other side of the street. Was the surface I walked on too hot for you to come near? Did you know that your looks flamed the fire of insecurities within me?
August 24, 2010. A taxi driver picks up Michael Enright, his first passenger of the day.
He thinks it would be an average ride until he uttered the word Muslim. Michael Enright slashes the taxi driver's face, not once,
not twice. What a price to pay for the freedom of your rights.
What happened to our freedom of religion? Promise to you and you.
And me? What about me? It's the first day of school. I'm the only Muslim girl wearing the hijab. I can feel everyone's eyes razor sharp, their lips forming questions. Who knew curiosity could cut so deep? I just wanted to curl up in a corner. February 10, 2010. Imagine you're a Muslim, going to your house of prayer and seeing the words Muslim, go home, dripping in red paint on the white walls.
Go home, they said. Go home where?
Hospital I was born? The city that I was raised?
We're not just Muslims.
We're American Muslims,
equal in every way. I heard the words roll off his tongue. You Muslims are the reason why the airport lines are so long, you bombers. He was drunk, but a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. Are the things we see, hear, and experience daily.
Now you know of these.
Hidden crimes.
Unheard voices.
Terror on Muslims. Restless souls.
Guns and bullet holes. Wake up, America. The enemy has always been here.
Man, you guys are getting good. So that's Karen Wakar, Lena Ganawi, Hawa Adam, and Balkisa Abdikadir. They are delightful human beings, and we're so fortunate to have had them come into our lives. Give them another hand.